So, good morning, everyone. In today's session, we will be discussing a very important part that will introduce you to the advertising as a separate course, as a separate stream of marketing. We will be discussing advertising as an integral part of promotions, and the learning objectives of today's session would be to understand how advertising becomes an important part of the promotions and what are the different categories of advertising. So, I will be introducing you to different categories of advertising today. So, let's make a start with this session and start discussing. My first question to you all for today's session is, why do we actually do advertising? We have discussed it earlier also in the previous sessions. But see, I had that time explained you in detail once again as a refresher after the marketing management course that there are multiple methods of promotions. We discussed what is personal selling, we discussed what is sales promotions, we discussed what is public relations, and then we came to the part of advertising. So it is not the case that, like, if we compare personal selling with advertising, of course, there are lots and lots of pros of personal selling. Like, you would say that, man, personal selling is preferred because it is so effective, but we all know that it is very expensive. Sometimes to contact everyone that we need to touch or all the target audience in the stream, it becomes extremely expensive because you have to hire a big sales team for that who would be doing personal selling. Whereas I agree that advertising is not as direct as personal selling. It's not as personalized as personal selling. Sometimes might not be as effective as personal selling also. But the best advantage of advertising is that it can actually reach a lot of people. So the reach of advertising is far massive as compared to your normal personal selling means. So here is just a small depiction of the ad spend on different media in crores of rupees by SME Futures. The source is by SME Futures, which is an advertising firm, digital advertising firm, and it says that around 41% you know is spent on television advertising, 28% on digital media, 25% on print, 3% on other means, 2.5% on radio, and 0.5% on cinema. And this is a list of some top 10 advertisers across different genre, all India level. So Hindustan Lever becomes the topmost, and there is Reckitt Benckiser, Ponds, Brook Bond, Lipton India, Procter and Gamble, ITC, Cadbury's India, Colgate Palmolive India, Lakme Lever Limited, and Amazon Online India Private Limited. So these are the top 10 advertisers in India. I just wanted to let you know about this to increase your fact based knowledge about advertising so that you become more interested in understanding as to why so much of ad spend is happening in advertising field. So when we talk about advertising objectives or any kind of uh, you know goal based advertising and or objective based advertising, advertising objectives are also strategy decisions. Every ad should have clearly defined objectives. We've already studied it in the previous session, so I will not take too much of time in stressing upon objective based advertising. We all know why it is necessary. But why I have linked these two things? I just told you about how much of ad spend is happening every year, and then I'm telling you about advertising objectives to make you understand that unless an advertising is having properly set objectives, it is not going to give you the return on investment. Because the sponsor of the advertising always wants an ROI. He wants a return on each and every penny that has been spent. I mean, each and every rupee or pesa that has been spent on advertising. He wants a return. So these objectives basically guide the advertising people to create better ads, choose the media wisely, target their audience correctly, and finally, reach the successful level of advertising, running advertising campaigns. So that is why setting your advertising objective is equally necessary. So, as I just told you that today we will be discussing the categories of advertising. There are of course multiple different categories of advertising also. So we will be discussing them one by one today. The first and foremost category that I want to discuss with you is the product advertising. Product advertising, as you all know, that it is none other than any kind of non-personal selling of a particular goods or services, right? So to do product advertising, we all know that organizations have been using television ads, radio is also used, billboards are used to an extensive range, junk mails are used, sometimes other means of social media are also used. And then, of course, there are online shopping platforms which are also doing a lot of product advertising. So, these are the means or media that are used for product advertising or the non personal selling of goods and services. The next category of advertising is the institutional advertising. This is also called as advocacy advertising, in which an organization or a brand is promoted as an institution where people are actually working, spending their lives, and luring out a good quality life and satisfaction from that institution. Sometimes educational institutions also use advocacy advertising, in which the advertising is trying to, um, do advocacy for that institution, and they are saying that, why one would join this or why one would use this in this brand, and this is actually a brand promotion and creates a lot of goodwill and good reputation for that particular institution. I still remember reading a newspaper print advertisement somewhere a few years back in Times of India, and that ad was from Tata Group, in which they were not promoting any particular product of Tata. They were not promoting their hotels, they were not promoting Tata Steel. But what they had done was that they covered an entire leaf of Times of India. And I still remember that it was printed on the last page of Times of India. And they had given the photographs of a lot of their employees who are employed at good positions in their organization, along with their names. And they'd also quoted from where they have passed out. Lots and lots of them from the premium educational institutions of India, like IITs and IIMs and other big other big institutions. And they were just saying that there has to be something good about this reputed company, this Tata as an institution, why all the cream students of different institutes are joining this organization. So, this is what is advocacy advertising. I hope that I'm making it absolutely clear to you. So, now let's move ahead towards some more categories of advertising. Then there is a pioneer advertising, which is also called as informative advertising. This informative advertising, as I just told you, that whenever advertising is playing um, an informative role, I have spoken to you about these three, four roles that are played by advertising in the previous session, and one of them was informative role. And whenever an advertising is trying to be an informative, mostly this type of advertising is used in the growth period or the introductory period of the product's life cycle, because that time, the information about the product is being sent to the advertiser. So the role that advertising is playing is to inform the customers about this new product or the new brand, about its features, about its price, about its competitive advantage, and why they should use it. So actually, this pioneer advertising creates an awareness about the product amongst the target audience. And that is why it is done in the early stages of the product life cycle. Then the next type of advertising is competitive advertising. In competitive advertising, again, there are two parts: direct advertising, direct competitive advertising, and indirect competitive advertising. So, as the name itself suggests, I hope that you all have understood what is the meaning of competitive advertising. When you are trying to, do a comparative advertising between yourself and your competing brands. So, when we say that it is a direct type of competitive advertising, it tries to get you to take action now, which means buy the product now, immediate buying. Why? Because you try to offer some benefits to the customers which are better than the competitor. An indirect type of competitive advertising actually tries to point out the advantages. So, if you think about the product later, excuse me, if you try to, if you're trying to think about you will you will buy the product later on. So, what is indirect advertising doing? It is keeping on reminding you about its benefit as compared to its competitors, and they are sure that you will buy their brand later on. So that is what is indirect advertising. Excuse me for a minute. Yeah. So now we move ahead towards the next type of advertising, which is comparative advertising. And this type of advertising makes direct comparisons with the competitive brands. Companies used to earlier hesitate a lot in doing this type of comparative advertising where they are trying to directly compare their brand with any other brand. But now that organizations are doing it very freely. Of course, there is a rule there now. Law forbids any one particular brand from depicting, the other brand's name in its, advertisement. So there are multiple such advertisements in which they show that our product is better than any other product, and in disguise they try to show a similar type of packaging of their competitive brands in their advertisements to make the people understand that okay, fine, they are trying to tell us that this salt is better than any other salt. So sometimes, of course, it can backfire and cause the viewer to not want to buy your product also if the comparison is too harsh. And this happens in case of multiple different types of advertisings. I have given an example of political advertising here, which is, of course, very nasty when the people are directly advertising and saying that they are better than their uh, political competitors. So sometimes it backfires on them and creates a bad reputation for that political party or the political person. So, some countries, of course, are not allowing comparative advertising at all. Other countries do allow, but you have to prove the statements that you are making in your advertisement. And now we are moving ahead towards the next type of advertising, which is reminder advertising. Mostly, reminder advertising is done in the maturity or sometimes the decline stage of the product life cycle. You already know about the product, I mean, the customer already knows about the product, but the brand constantly keeps on reminding the customer about the product, and this is what is called as reminder advertising. And these ads are usually the soft sells, and they try to be very entertaining for people. So mostly some kind of creative story is narrated in the advertisement, or sometimes a very creative jingle is added in these types of advertisements. And you are just trying to keep reminding the customer about the brand that yes, we exist, and please don't forget to buy us. So this chart that is in front of you on the screen actually tries to depict the relationship between advertising and the product life cycle. And you can clearly see here that at the time of the uh, introductory or the growth stage, initially in the introductory stage, the informative advertising is used, which is also called as the pioneering advertising. In the growth stage, the persuasive advertising is used, and competitive and comparative type of advertising strategies are implied in the growth stage and initial maturity stage. After the product reaches its maturity or maybe is in the decline stage, the organizations try to use the reminder oriented advertising. Right? So that is the relationship between advertising and the product life cycle. Now let us move ahead and talk a bit more about this institutional advertising that I introduced you to. So mostly this institutional advertising is trying to promote a concept or an idea or a philosophy, sometimes goodwill, like I just mentioned in the example of Tata that I gave you. that the goodwill of the organization is so much that you know all the toppers of the premium institutions join Tata. So this is actually closely related to the public relations program of the company, this institutional type of advertising, because it is ultimately creating a good reputation of the brand in the minds of the public who is viewing those advertisements, and that is why it is actually creating good public relations with their target audience. So like many Japanese conglomerates that have many types of products like Hitachi, Sony, Mitsubishi, Panasonic, they are using institutional advertising. Indian brands examples I have already given to you, like Tata. Reliance also sometimes adopts institutional advertising. A lot of multiple different good hospital chains who are providing healthcare services are also doing, you know, institutional advertising. And there is this retail advertising and cooperative advertising. Who understand retail advertising, we all know that these type of advertisings are done by the stores that sell stuff directly to the consumers. So, and mostly the media of advertising that is used in this case are either the newspapers or the radio channels, because they are mostly targeting the local customers, and local customers would definitely hear the radio channels and the refer to the local newspapers for this kind of advertising stuff. And the reason they are not promoted on TV commercials is that one point number one, the TV commercials are very expensive, and of course they are mostly broadcasted on a mass level, and it is broadcasted throughout India. So there is no point of advertising and giving an advertisement of a retail store for India. So that is why this retail advertising is mostly used by the small retail stores, small and big both type of retail stores. Then there is this cooperative advertising. The sharing of advertising costs here is between the middleman and the retailer and the manufacturer, which means that all three intermediaries would actually uh, have a share of advertisements here. This means that they will cooperate to display the sales promotion material and share the cost of commercials and billboards, etc. That is what is cooperative advertising. Apart from this, it's very important for all of you to understand what are the ethical issues in advertising. As I just said that as I just said that you know sometimes the brands, in order to compete between each other, become so hyper competitive that they just start disgracing the competitive brand in their advertisements. So these are the things which actually create ethical issues in advertising. And there are some other ethical issues also, like uh, depiction of incorrect information, depiction of some kind of false information, especially when you are advertising to the kids. Like children always take advertisements very seriously. Like you should be very careful when you are trying to show your mascot eating a bubble gum and jumping from one building to other, because kids are really very immature and innocent and they can take it literally. And there have been cases where kids have actually tried doing all these stunts by eating those bubble gums. So that is why you have to be very sensitive while advertising to the children. Similarly, advertising of any kind of products which is having any kind of health hazards, um, that ethical issues have to be taken care of. So there are multiple such types of things that you should be concerned of while you are advertising. And there are multiple joint ads sometimes when two brands come together or some kind of co-branding occurs. In these types of advertisements, two brands are promoted at a time, and sometimes co-branding of two different brands has taken place by some joint venture or merger. Then some advertisements are specially created to impart the idea of this co-branding amongst the customers. And they should know that these two brands are now working together, or there has been a merger of these two brands. For example, the VI network in India, so Vodafone and Idea network. So these types of co-branding advertisements are also created. So now, before we talk about choosing the best way to advertise, we have to first discuss our own position. We should be knowing what is our current position, what is the scenario right now, where do we stand before we choose to deliver the best advertisement in the market. So, if we talk about positioning, positioning basically involves developing a marketing strategy aimed at a particular market segment in order to achieve a desired position with respect to the competition in the mind of the buyer. So, if the buyer thinks in a certain way about a product, right, then only it is going to go for the product. If the buyer has created a perception that the product or the brand is not good enough, no matter how well the advertising has been created, if the positioning is not good, the ultimate success of the advertising or the advertisement campaign is at stake. So, there are multiple types of creating these positionings in the minds of the customers, like by the attributes, which means that what are the features that are there, how they would help you in, or maybe how the product will be beneficial to you. For example, when Pantene Pro V promotes its shampoo and tells about the benefits of the benefits of using that shampoo for the for better looking hair, that is called as positioning by attributes. Sometimes when only by price the positioning is created, when a brand is promoted as being very reasonably priced and still at a good, still serving a good quality, then it is called as positioning by price. Similarly, if we are trying to, position ourselves as being better than the competitors, that would be called as positioning by the competition. By application, like, how we actually apply that product and how it gains, results, how it gives the results, that would be called as positioning by application. And then, of course, product users and product class are also two very important means of positioning the product in the market. Then comes another very important aspect which we call as media selection. I have told you already about the different types of media that are existing. We have discussed them in detail earlier also. So, your newspaper, magazine, television, radio, direct mail, outdoor, these are multiple sources of, these are the multiple media vehicles that are available in advertising. So, in which category is the most money spent? I've told you that also. But you have to understand while choosing the media as to, which media is more fit for my type of advertising. For example, as I just told you, that if a local retail store is trying to, advertise in the market, then they will be choosing radio and local newspapers as the media, because a lot of local people would be referring to the radio channels and the newspapers, listening to the radio channels and referring the newspapers. And there are multiple different types of magazines. Like if there is an educational magazine, then a lot of educational institutes will be advertising in those magazines. So these are the different types of media, and they should be selected very well. Where they should be chosen very well. I have also shown here the share of newspapers, magazines, television, radio, direct mail, etc. to you people. Earlier, also I had shown you a graph. So if we talk about the advantages and disadvantages of choosing any particular media. Like if I talk about newspapers, they are very flexible, community prestige is associated with them. There is intense coverage and reader control of exposure. Like when I'm reading something, I have a control over, reading that or not. I will just turn on the leaf and avoid the page on which the advertisement was printed. But mostly in case of you know newspapers, this is the problem that exists. And if we talk about the lifespan, it is very short in case of newspapers, only of a day and sometimes few hours, and that is one disadvantage. Sometimes people are doing very hasty reading, so a lot of advertisements go unnoticed, and there is a very poor reproduction rate. If we talk about magazines, there is of course a lot of selectivity, and that is one of the advantages, because you can select which genre of advertising, which genre of magazine you want to advertise your advert in. Quality of reproduction is very good in this case. The life is longer than the newspaper. Prestige associated with some magazines is too high. Like some magazines are really considered very prestigious in India, like India Today, Business India. And in case of advertising, I will just tell you that AFAQS is a very good advertising magazine. Another one is Campaign India. So I will request all the viewers to go through these magazines who are from India. And the only disadvantage that magazines have is the lack of flexibility. Then, of course, there is television advertising, which it is the best advantage is that it has got a great impact, mass coverage, repetition, flexibility, and prestige associated with it. Of course, the nature of the message is very temporary, and that is what makes the television advertisements very small life. And sometimes people tend to forget them very easily. High costs are associated with television media advertising. You have to pay a lot for buying the media time, especially if you are trying to advertise in the prime time. um, High costs are there, high mortality rate for the commercials is there, evidence of public distrust is there, lack of selectivity is there. These are the disadvantages of television advertising. If we talk about radio, the advantages are immediacy, low cost, practical audience selection, mobility. Disadvantage are the fragmentation, temporary nature, and little research information. Outdoor in advertising, like on billboards and all, they have their own advantages, like quick communication of simple ideas, repetition is possible, ability to promote products available for sale nearby can be depicted through them. Then the disadvantage are the brevity of the message, public concern over aesthetics. There is a lot of advantages of the last type of media that I want to discuss here, which is direct mail. Selectivity, you can select which type of media, which type of direct mailing service you want to use. Intense coverage is there. You can select your targeted customers also. Speed, flexibility of format, complete information, personalization are other such benefits of using direct mailing. And high cost per person is one disadvantage. The other one is dependency on the quality of mailing lists, and of course, the consumer resistance to read those mails is one very big disadvantage. So there are multiple other types of media vehicles also, which we have not spoken about, like the trade magazines. In trade magazines, different genre, they are particularly, talking about different genres. There are some tourism magazines, automobile magazines and all. So mostly advertisements that are published in these types of magazines are, you know, of that genre also. Like all the hotel chains would, advertise in the tourism magazines. All the car companies and other two-wheeler companies would be advertising in the automobile magazines. So these types of things are there. Then there are infomercials in which, they are long duration advertisements which run for more than 10 minutes up till almost 45 to 50 minutes. Infomercials are there. They are mostly telecasted at odd hours of the media viewing, because since they are of long duration, buying media in the daytime when a lot of viewers are there is very expensive. So we mostly see infomercials at night time, and they are the ad commercials in which the uh, you know spokesperson is trying to tell you each and every detail and usage of a particular kind of product. Tata Sky and all these types of phone line shopping services are one such good example. Then there are of course TV commercials. You all know about them, and they're of course very expensive also. So with this, we have spoken quite a lot about advertising, positioning your brand through advertising, and of course, we have talked about all the different categories of advertising. In our next session, we will be starting from the same point, and we will be discussing how to plan the best message for advertising. So, you know, it is very important for one to understand, you know, in detail the things that have been discussed in today's session, because unless you know what are the different categories of advertising, how will you understand, which type of advertising I should be using for advertising my brand. Similarly, if you don't know that, which type of media vehicle is there, what are the pros and cons of those different media vehicles, and how will you understand that how much of ad spend is supposed to be done in which type of media, and which type of media would suit my requirements. So that is why it was very important for all the learners to understand, which type of media vehicle suits what type of advertising. So I really hope that today's session has been, uh, pretty informative for all of you. And in our next session, we will be discussing, what should be, know, the best possible means of gaining the attention and interest from the customers. How can I prepare a good advertisement that actually gains attention and interest of the customers, and how to inform and persuade your customers very well, how to lead a person right from being an ignorant about a brand. Like initially, when a product or a brand is launched in the market, any customer or any of the target audience are totally ignorant about the brand. So, right from creating the awareness amongst the ignorant target audience, towards, you know, moving them towards liking the product, having a desire to buy the product, and converting their buying decision in the favor of your brand, right? That would be called a well planned advertising campaign. So, in our further sessions, we will be discussing how to best plan the correct type of message that has to be sent to the targeted audience. We will also be discussing as to how we can actually, you know, uh, create a good advertising campaign which would persuade the customers to buy our product or buy our brand, or how to change the buying decision of the customer in the favor of your brand. So these are the things, these are the important points that we will be covering in our upcoming sessions. Meanwhile, that is all from my side for today's session. I really hope that today's session has left the learners well informed and well satisfied with the concept of advertising, with the concept of different categories of advertising, the media spend of different types of advertising, and the media selection of for different types of advertisements. And of course, you all must have understood the relationship between the, type of advertising that is used and the product life cycle. So, with this, I am officially closing the session for today. This is Dr. Swati Mishra from International School of Business Management at Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur, signing off. Thank you so much for joining these sessions. Have a nice day.
Thank you, ma'am.